grab me a beer and grab him a coke. We about to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brandon T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brandon Taz if it's your ex drinking buddy. Brandon Taz if it's your ex drinking buddy. Brandon Taz if it's your ex drinking buddy. Brandon Taz if it's your ex drinking buddy.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. I'm your host, Brennan Tassif. If you're new to the show, quick rundown of the show. It used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. It was my favorite thing to do. Hang out with friends, get drunk, do drugs, get in trouble, talk shit, and just reminisce about old stories. I'm sober now, but that is still one of my favorite things to do. Most weeks I'll be joined by a guest. This week is no exception. Comedian all the way from New York City, Nathan Orton.
What's going on, Brennan? How are you, man?
Good. How are you doing?
Fucking fantastic.
I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate being here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Plug everything up front. This is something I always do.
Okay.
This will come out Friday for everybody. So do you have any shows coming up? Plug your social media. Do that whole thing.
Yeah. I'm always having shows pop up last minute. Just follow me at Nathan Orton NYC on Instagram. My social media presence sucks, but if you come to a live show, I will make you laugh.
Yeah, you're incredibly funny. I've seen
man.
you a couple times, and both times recently that I saw you, you had no material. You literally got there and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. And then you just went up and I couldn't stop laughing. And I was like, I got to get this guy on the podcast.
Right, I appreciate it. I did a long set recently at Caroline's, and after that, I'm like, I just want to try new stuff. So, you know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can't just have a new bit every day. So sometimes I just get up there with very little. You got to fill 5 minutes with those mics.
When you came
Yeah.
after you listened to the TED Talk on nuclear war, and then you showed up and you're like, I had jokes about dogs, but who cares?
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, here we go.
There's a TED Talk. The title of the video was, I've studied nuclear war for 35 years. Why you should all be worried. And then I found out how the dinosaurs actually died. Like the asteroid didn't hit the Earth, and then they just died. It hit the Earth, and then it caused a weird microwave effect, and they boiled to death.
The nuclear winter is what you got to worry about.
I would rather freeze slowly and still have a few days than just boil for 10 minutes. Oh, and that's what a nukes would do.
Yeah, and
I think no one's crazy enough, and I think there's enough safeguards between a psychopath and the button. There's always going to be one guy who's like, no, I have a family.
Yeah,
what do you But
dial it back. We got stuff going on.
We just need to take Kim Jong-un and Putin and put them in have them do a UFC main
cage
event.
Fight.
Just have them fight to the death, and then whoever wins, someone just goes out and shoots them in the fucking head, and then they're both done. They're both dead. And then use their body to fuel something with green energy.
There you go.
See, they could be used as compost. We don't have to keep them alive, fucking ruining people.
We're making big plans. We're making big plans here on Extra Buddy.
Yeah.
I wanted to because your path to comedy from just the outside looking in seems a little unique in the fact that the family that you come from and everything like that, which you had talked about on stage before, and I was interested, especially because I'm from the South, so obviously a big wrestling fans in the South.
Is that where that twang comes from? You got a little bit of it.
Do I?
A little bit.
Comes out every once in a while.
Charming.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm not hitting on you. It's just you got the familiar thing in your voice where it's I feel like I hung out with this guy in St. Louis.
There you go.
Because I'm from there too. I don't know what my accent is. I think I just have a unique, weird kind of
voice.
Hey, what's that? What's a word that's not flattering? On a chalkboard.
Raspy? Oh.
I don't know. Shitty.
Shitty.
My voice, I don't know. Hopefully. I don't have a very manly, no one's going to hear just my voice and be like, oh, I want to date that guy.
That's a man.
Yeah. I just have this weird kind of.
It's almost like you should be wearing glasses and almost like a nerdy kind of.
Good.
Yeah.
So I sound smart until they put the words together.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then they're like, wait a second. But you, how did you get into comedy? Because your family comes from a wrestling background. You said you did MMA for a little while. How did you? The YouTube clip, that's the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. When you're like, I knocked out a guy in 7 seconds, and then the title of the YouTube clip.
It's just my brother's name.
Yeah. How did you end up in New York doing comedy with the background of your family? Because your dad's in the Hall of Fame. for wrestling. Your brother's a big time heel, one of the greatest heels of all time, probably. Yeah. And then you said you were doing MMA and you were doing that kind of thing, and now you're a clown. And so how did you get there?
All right. So like I wrestled in high school because I thought I was supposed to. Didn't like it. But like I have this work ethic, luckily, that I think transitioned to comedy, which is why I'm doing better than maybe I should. Like I don't have talent, but I worked hard. I don't know what the fuck. Anyways, but like I'm
in the same boat.
Yeah, you just gotta work hard.
The addict mentality. I get up, I go to the gym, I go do shows, then I go to work. It's like
that's how. Yep, you gotta grind, bro.
Grind, bro.
Get your fucking coffee. All right, but I wrestled. I wasn't good, but I didn't quit. And then freshman year of college, I was like, I'm gonna wrestle.
Where did you go to college?
SIUE, Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville. Okay. Yeah, and I just decided I'm gonna wrestle because I hated it, but like I need to prove to myself I can get through a college season. And the Greco-Roman coach who fucked with the heavyweights, he had an MMA school, and I was like, you know what? It wasn't big yet. It was like just to where it was like Ultimate Fighter was on, like Diego Sanchez, like throwback.
Okay.
And I just started doing that. I started training, and as much as I hated wrestling, like I kind of had a knack for fighting because I have long arms. I could hit hard. Maybe it's just like my childhood coming out. But like I ended up fighting, and I was like doing pretty well.
Okay.
I did. Yeah, I was like 8-2, maybe 9-2.
And this is in
amateur MMA.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was great. And then I just kind of realized like I'm not a fighter. Like I've proven to myself I'm not a bitch. I'm just kind of over it. But I have hip dysplasia. So my whole,
like a dog.
Yeah. My whole fucking career, and I'll put that in quotes, is like of fighting and wrestling was all just, I was practically disabled. Just fighting through this pain, thinking I was just a wimp when I...
Oh, really? So you had like a serious issue, but
I'm
you
all
were just
fucked
like...
up. And atomically, I'm a mess. I have scoliosis, a murmur, hip dysplasia. I'm a fucking mess. But I'm just like, whatever, and I fought through it. But I literally... I'm sorry. But so... What was that? Where was I going with this? I just stopped doing it, started playing the guitar because I always liked music. I taught myself the guitar.
How long did you said you were 9-2. How long was that?
A year.
Okay. So now you're a sophomore in college.
Yeah. And I just was playing the guitar. I started like partying and I guess that's where these stories
we'll get into that.
Talking about any of this. But then after like 5 years later, after just working at restaurants, not knowing what I wanted to do with my life, being depressed, I still am. But I started doing... I got hip surgery eventually because it got real bad. And then once I could... my girlfriend at the time would drive me to the comedy club in St. Louis, Westport Funny Bone. And I went and saw this like Best of St. Louis, like the finals of this competition.
So you're back home now at this point?
Yeah, in St. Louis. And I just told myself once I can walk again, I'm going to do comedy.
Okay.
And I started writing horrible jokes. I get up on stage, and then like a year later, I won that competition.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so like, but I still knew I sucked. It was just a small market.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to move to New York because I just didn't have any money saved up, and I was scared to like go broke and shit.
Yeah. Which is a real fear. And I've noticed that since we got here. I was lucky enough to get a good job to where I was okay.
Yeah.
But when we first got here, the restaurant I was working at was slow. Like, ungodly slow. And I looked at my girlfriend Savannah and I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do. Like, I only have enough saved for rent for a couple months. Like, if we don't pick up, like, I didn't move to New York.
Work the streets, Savannah.
Well, but it was one of those things where it's like, I mean, I could make rent, but then I'd have to work 6 days a week at night. And it's like, I didn't move to New York to do that. Like, I should have just stayed in Florida then. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And then I was lucky enough to find a job where it's a lot busier, so I don't have to work as much and I can do comedy.
Yeah.
But that's a huge fear for like everyone I talk to back home. Like, a big reason they don't want to move is, one, it's like, I'm a big fish in a small pond. Why would I go where no one cares?
That's the part of me that made me want to leave.
That's me too.
I don't want to be a road hack. I want to go bomb and be around the best and get better.
Yeah, my big thing, same mindset was like, I'd rather be a tiny fish in a huge pond and get to be around all these people.
I want to be a fucking leviathan in the ocean.
Yeah.
I want to be a big
little
fish in New York City. I just know it's going to take a few years.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Because you got to get, you literally being here makes you better. I'm 10 times better than I was when I moved here. I wish I would have moved here earlier. It's hard. And now once you get good at stand-up comedy, I'm like, oh, I have to do podcasts and
promote
and fucking social media, and I suck at those.
I'm so bad at social media.
I'm not good at social media. Frankly, I don't know how good I am at podcasts. I like whisper it like I'm not in the microphone. Yeah, don't tell the audience, but I suck at doing this. But no, now it's like, so the people, the potential fan base sees me as an amateur again at these new mediums.
Yeah.
It's like, come to a show. Well, but it's like, it's just beautiful because we're comedians. We're not athletes. We'll be 70 doing this.
Yeah.
You just got to take care of yourself.
Yeah, you just have to look out for...
And I'm going to make it. I'm going to be a cool-ass grandpa in a movie.
Yeah?
That grandpa character was great. I'm like, no wife. Fucking no kids, but I'm like, I made it.
I did it.
Fucking 4 hip surgeries later. I'm just fucking, God damn
They can't put me down. I did want to talk about, so when you got here after St. Louis, did you, because I found this is, when I got sober and got back into stand-up, so I started in 2009, and then when I got back into it in 2018, after, arrests and jail and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
I was like, all right, I'm going to get like an hour together.
Yeah.
Like a solid road out, like something I can do where if I meet someone and they're like, hey, come on the road with me, I'm set. Like I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and then I'm going to get the podcast going and then I'll get to New York.
Okay.
And then when I got here, everyone's like, we don't give a shit. Like you have to start over anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm in the same position where I was like, I should have just moved as soon as I could.
Yeah. But don't, like, here's my advice. Go through that hour, break it up into 5-minute chunks, get it down to 2-minute chunks that kill.
Yeah.
And then put it back together, and now you can do what your plan was. Like, I need to get on the road myself. I don't know the logistics. I'm so bad at marketing, promoting, networking, logistics that, like, this is arrogant, but it's not. It's just a fact. I could headline clubs.
Yeah.
Like, I could, and the owner and the fans would be like, oh, he's a comedian. He could headline, and I could fucking follow the host in the feature. I don't care what city I'll be fine. But doing that and not losing money because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, that's the challenge.
That's the hardest part is everything you put. Oh no, I was just going to say because like I'm going back home to like visit with family and do a run of shows.
Nice.
But it's all on my, like I'm paying for it.
Yeah, you end up breaking even kind of.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, even if I make money, it's, between the plane ticket and luckily I can stay with family so I don't have to get a hotel. But anywhere else, it's like, oh, well, hotel, if I want to rent a car, it's fucking $400 for 3 days. And it's like, oh, well, now I'm like, unless you're selling out, comedy clubs and doing eight shows and they're putting you up and everything, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna break even. So it almost becomes one of those things where it's like, well, I might as well just stay. Like I'm in the mecca of comedy. I might as well just stay and do shows here. It's easier
to stay the longer you're here, but then you need that break where you need to see family and you need to be out of this like pollution and the bitter cold and the like lack of spots for guys that look like us. It's a get that my like New Year's resolution was to stop being bitter about that because it's just a fact and it pushes you to get better. It'll take us longer, but that's whatever. We'll be ready when we get there.
Yeah.
Like compare Burr and Louis C.K. to some Instagram fucking kid who does a year of touring then can't anymore because everyone saw him bomb for an hour. It's so like it's fine. I don't care. It's gonna take a while. But yeah, I gotta quit. It's hard not to poke fun at that because it's like it's this glaring thing that we can't bring up because we're all right.
No, I'm listening.
Because the P word, like we're inherently privileged, so like we can't complain.
Yeah,
and it's like, but there is that, like it's a thing, and it's like, so I just want to stop bitching about it, but it's fun to make fun of.
I love making fun of it.
It's an anomaly. It's like this weird, it's all right here. Everyone sees it, but everyone denies it except for the ones it's affecting.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is how everyone else felt for the history. Okay, I get it. But it's like, why can't we I wasn't spraying anyone with a fire hose or stopping anyone from doing any, like, let me complain a little, you know? I don't know.
I think that's a big New York thing too, because I complain about that kind of shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like with certain people, especially like when I go home, I'll be like, can you believe? And then a lot of times people are like, will laugh because we're just poking fun at it. Like we're making fun of it.
Yeah.
But I've noticed up here, I'll say certain things at shows and it's like,
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I thought we were I thought we were kidding around. I thought, you know, like Norman's always on stage and like jokes. They're just jokes. We're just kidding.
And Norman got in, like he's obviously great, but he got in and he's still like he's doing the clubs that we want to be doing, and he's regularly, right?
Yeah.
And he's still dealing with like what you can and can't say. That to me, having to thread the needle and dodge the laser beams is fun. It makes you a better comic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't like being told, "Oh, sorry, we got enough guys that look like you here already," and it's like, well, but I'm different. My jokes are different.
Yeah.
Why can't we go off that? But there we go. Like, I think I was too vague before I just said that last thing. So now everyone listening at least knows what we were
alluding to.
Beating the bush around.
Yeah.
White guys don't get a lot. Okay. But like I gotta, like I'm celibate. Like it's weird that you say that you're sober.
Yeah.
Because I'm sober. I've been like, I started transcendental meditation, and since then my life has gotten way better. I getting up early to work out. I'm sober as fuck. I've been celibate because I just don't like casual sex. I'm a weirdo with that. I like to get to know somebody.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, well, I think most dudes are. It's just not cool.
Yeah.
And most dudes aren't comics, so they don't divulge.
I tell people all the time, I'm so happy that I'm in a relationship with someone that I love and care about, because to do the casual thing, it's between my insecurity and just my lack of self-confidence sometimes and stuff. It's like, it's painful.
Yeah.
Like my anxiety is always shooting up and I'm like, I don't know you. Like I don't want to.
Like, I don't love you, trust you, or even know you. And now I got to get a boner.
Yeah. And then
that's a lot of pressure.
If it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's.
Yeah. You're just a guy.
Yeah. I'm just some guy.
Suck.
And then got, now
luckily, you're on her podcast.
Yeah, well, no, but yeah, exactly. Like, luckily, something maybe in my career takes off, and then to her and all her friends, I'm just that guy she met at a bar who couldn't get hard once. It's like,
you know how many girls out there when I make it, not if, when, gotta be confident.
Gotta be confident.
Oh my god, he couldn't. He sucked. Like I found out what it is. So like, but I was originally saying like I'm sober or celibate.
Yeah.
So being celibate, I've just kind of started saying asexual to like almost kind of, it's tongue in cheek, but like I kind of am.
Yeah, I mean,
and that puts me in the LGBTQA community. So like, it's like a ha wink. I'm one of those
because you're celibate. So you
like
are.
I like book me, but like. It's kind of like a joke, but I am celibate, and I'm going to be until I meet the right person, which won't happen until I'm rich and famous, and then it'll be someone who doesn't really love me. They just want my money, so that's life. But you can't depend on someone else for happiness. But
100%.
But I have how I have hip dysplasia?
Yeah.
So I have this pelvic floor hypertonia, which is probably more common than you think. But it the muscles in my pelvic floor like constrict the blood vessels, so like I can get hard, but I have to like put effort into keeping it. So if I don't know, and I'm working on it now, physical therapy, I'm gonna get injected. Like I'm taking care of this.
Are you doing the injections? I remember you said you probably weren't.
There's a payment plan. I'm gonna go all the way. Just try to do this. But it's like the funny thing is if I don't know a chick and I'm not comfortable with her, you add that anxiety to already like having to kegel my dick into rigidity until she comes. Like that's a lot of pressure. Like sex was never enjoyable.
Yeah.
Until it was like a girl I really was comfortable with and it was like relaxed. But yeah, my sex life has been so garbage. Being celibate's easy.
Yeah.
And like you think this is embarrassing to admit, I just don't give a fuck. I think you hit a certain age in your 30s, you don't care.
Yeah. Well, and it's so interesting you bring this up because when you talked because you were talking about that on stage a couple weeks ago, and I honestly thought to myself like, wait a second. Is that something that maybe I have? Because that's been a huge problem.
You know how many dudes were probably like, yeah.
Because I always thought it was my anxiety. Because I'd get with someone if like especially in college and stuff, I would have to drink so much. And I had a whole bit about like playing like amateur alchemist where it's like I can drink, but if I drink too much, I can't get hard at all and I black
really
out.
Funny.
And if I thank you. And I'm okay at this.
Yeah.
But it's like if I don't drink enough, then I'm too anxious and then I can't get hard. So it was this whole thing where it was
great
like
bit.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
Why would I be? What?
I don't know.
My voice is sarcastic.
Because you go, that's a great bit.
No,
in all seriousness.
It's I wish you died and I could do that bit because I could add it to my boner problems because I don't even have jokes about it. I just talk about it at mics because I don't care if it's embarrassing and I'm trying to find something. When I sit and write about it, I'm like, no one wants to hear about this. Then I get on stage and I have no other jokes that I need to work on, and all right, so my dick. And it's I know it's horrible. No one wants to hear a guy talking about his dick, but you do that until you get to those good jokes, and then they're relatable, because every dude's been through this. I mean,
for sure.
The only guys that talk about their dick, besides comics who are just vulnerable and weird and open, are guys who are like just genetically lucky, or they're lying.
Yeah, that's true.
So you don't hear many honest dick stories from dudes.
Well, and that's the other thing,
you hear
too.
it from women. Then you find out every guy sucks, and you're like, okay.
That's my my god. There's so many people out there who are probably like, yeah, tiny dick, couldn't get hard.
Yeah,
that's just life. That's what happens sometimes, you know. But I wanted. I can't believe we got on this topic. I wanted to.
It's. I feel like we're best friends now. It's very.
Did we just become best friends?
Your dick.
Yep.
Instead of a drum set, it's dicks. Just
your dick barely works.
Dicks.
My dick barely works.
Yeah.
I actually did the blue chews thing for a while when I was still single, and I was like, because it was such a problem that it would get in my own head. If the date was going well, and I was like, I guess I'm going to be expected to perform, it was over.
Yeah.
And this is hours before anything would happen. I would already get into my head, and it's over.
Bro, that's dude. Men are expected to be perfect with that, and like we are emotional beings with feelings too, that we're intelligent. I'm not some Neanderthal or some ape that can just fuck to reproduce, because that's what I have a big brain surrounding that primitive system that's going, pregnancy, STDs, is she crazy? She could fucking rob you.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Bite your dick off? I don't know. You can't trust people.
I've been saying that forever.
So, yeah.
People are always like, you're so cynical. And I go, yeah, because people suck.
Yeah.
In the words of the great Tom Segura, some people suck. And it's, oh my God, I can't. But yeah, that's something I wish because I played football almost my entire adult life, like from high school all the way through a few years in college. And there were some guys on the team that were just like in that like Neanderthal kind of like alpha primitive brain. And I at times would be so jealous because I'm like, oh, you guys don't care. Like you'll walk around naked at a party and just not give a shit.
Okay.
And it's like.
It's funny because all right.
But I was always envious of the guys who were just kind of like, yeah, look, I just get hard and I fuck. Like that's just what I do. And I'm always like, oh, you don't think about like, am I doing this well enough? Am I making her happy? Is she going to come back? Does she like me? Does she not? None of that crosses your mind. And they're like, no, I just get hard and I fuck.
The irony about dudes who don't care about the woman's pleasure are better because they're not in their head giving themselves the anxiety, which takes away from your dick powers. But like, I think I truly I'm a huge proponent of, I'm kind of glad all this happened because I'm on this huge health kick, and it's probably a lot subconsciously to make sure my dick's in top gear till the day I die. Because once you get over the anxiety and like the blood vessel issue, because it's not like my blood vessels are clogged, I'm healthy. It's this little issue that that's fixable.
You're just too jacked.
So dude, I'd been doing too many kegels. Just kegled my dick into
submission.
Yeah, exactly. I submitted my dick's in a fucking arm bar. I got myself in a dick bar. Just my body's triangle choking itself. Laugh into the microphones. They don't go, oh, this guy's all right.
He's just talking to himself.
It's hilarious. I get it though. It's a reaction.
That's gonna be the title of the episode. I put my dick in a dick bar.
Dick bar. I'm saying that you're not supposed to do bits on here, but you can do stuff. You can say things on here and turn them into bits.
Yeah,
it's gonna be turned into a bit.
Got my dick in a dick bar.
Yeah, but shit. How's the Blue Chew work? I've never done anything like that because I was like, I knew deep down before I figured out what this was, and like it's been diagnosed by a specialist. Like, yeah, how have you not killed yourself? Like, that's funny. That's a funny. No, because like here's the symptoms of pelvic floor hypotonia: constipation. I feel bloated all the time, even though I'm like slim. I look like I have like a gut. Dribble after I piss, which is you feel incontinent like an old man. It's fucking embarrassing. Oof. Edit that out. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, I go to this guy and he's like, do you have all these symptoms? I'm like, yeah, I just thought it was my 30s or late 20s even, like is when and he's like, no, your body's destroyed. You need help. And now I'm doing that. And now that I'm fixing all this, it's like, it gives me this huge hope. But like, since I've had such a horrible past, I'm able to avoid dating and shit. And then I have all my time for me.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't even know how to date. Like,
I mean,
all the girls I've hooked up with or been with, it's all been them putting themselves in that obvious bubble of they wanted me to, and I knew, so that I could initiate or they would even initiate. But only once I've like gone up to a girl, only once in my life, I've gone up to a girl and got her number. And I ended up, she was my girlfriend for like 9 months.
I feel where you're coming from on that because that is something.
I have no game.
Yeah, I was raised around women, so I'm more comfortable around women.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Like I never understood like the dude bros who are like, yeah, man, I was fucking her in the pussy. I'm like, ugh, gross. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like it just feels gross when people talk like that.
That's really funny. We're both on the same page with that, but in the world of comedy, people would see us, maybe hear a joke we do, and assume we were that.
Yeah. Oh, it happens all the time.
Isn't that a nightmare? In my St. Louis scene, I was like on a small scale, like canceled. I was banned from mics because of like jokes that were misogynistic. But it's like, no, I'm working out premises, dude. Women come up here and make jokes about cutting guys' dicks off, and they get applause. Like, let me say some shit.
Yeah, you're trying to work it out. Yeah. You can't figure out where the joke is.
But all those people who like cancel you. They never did anything. They quit. Then you realize, they're not comedians. They were hobbyists looking for something, and they found other cancel culture. I'm a victim, preachy fucks, and then they became friends. And now there's 6 of them, and they'd bully individual comics under the premise that comic's the bully. It's blew my mind.
Yeah,
it fucked with my head. I was like, what's wrong? But
yeah, it's totally well, and it's also one of those things because. I understand, and I even address it when I get on stage a lot of times, like at real shows and stuff. It's like I understand when I get up here immediately what the vibe is like, what the vibe is portrayed, and then I get into some of my stories, and then I'm like, just so we're all on the same page, like I'll talk about some things that have happened to me, and then people are like, oh, not what I was expecting. Which is great. It's like you said, it's challenging. It makes you work, and I love that aspect about it. Yeah, but it's interesting as well because I never. Unless I was blackout drunk, would never approach women. Like I always, if it was someone I was introduced to, like a friend of a friend, I'm on it. I'm like Jerry Maguire, man. I was hot. Yeah. Like I could talk, make jokes and stuff. But if it was strangers, like I would not. I just wouldn't address. I wouldn't talk to them. Yeah. And that's just something because of my anxiety and stuff. I've always been like that. Relationships and everything. Every relationship I've been in, normally almost 100% of them, the woman made the first move. Yeah. And then I was kind of like, oh, cool. And then, you kind of let your guard down and then you loosen up and then boom, next thing you know, you're dating. Yeah. I don't think I've ever like given my number to someone or like reached out in like DMs and been like, hey, let's hang out. I was terrible at Tinder.
I've never
I was so bad at that. Like
never.
Oh my God.
But there's a stigma for DMing, sliding into DMs. It's like literally sliding into DMs. It's like a bad taboo. I've never done it. I want to look thirsty. And then it wasn't only not having confidence. One, it was like this odd ambivalence, like, and this kind of like I want to just worry about my shit. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Like I saw a quote by Simon Cowell. I swear to God. And it was make money first, then fall in love. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not making a lot of money, so I'm still far behind. But it's like, yeah, that goals, career, that comes first. Because once you fall in love, and you're in that trap of like, I'll have a kid with her, that's going to change everything.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that. So I just avoid it. But also, this whole thing, we're not like, this whole Me Too, it's like, I don't want to accidentally scare a woman and then she blows it out of proportion because I approached her in the wrong way, and now what the fuck? Now I'm a creep. Or it's happened before without me even doing that, like where it's just kind of a lie. So it's like I'm just really sensitive to like
just
any
stay out
bad
of it,
press with that. I never want a woman to be uncomfortable. I want to be the comic that other like female comics are like, oh, I like when he's around because he's respectable, and like if there's a creep,
He'll take care of
fucking
it.
mean mug him or walk between us, and the creep doesn't fuck around.
Yeah.
Like you got the same kind of like you and I, like the average creepy guy probably wouldn't fuck with us, right? Because creeps generally aren't big, scary dudes. Those dudes don't need to be creeps.
They target people who they think are weaker than them.
They're weaker little, they're pussies, not to be
Crass,
little bitches.
Little fucking
Little
bitches.
punk ass bitches.
All right, we got to get back on track. We kind of went on a tangent.
That's fine. Was it my fault?
No, it's totally mine. I love it though. That's what the show's all about.
Yeah, it's a podcast. We're supposed to.
You had a lot of stories too, so we're definitely going to have you back on. But I wanted to ask you, just for everyone listening, because I know some people are going to be like, "What the fuck? You never even asked him." What was it like growing up with, like, in that environment with like a real famous father and that whole thing?
Well, so I knew Cowboy Bob Orton more so as
Dad?
the grumpy car salesman.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, he was out of that. And then he got back into it after my brother got into it because there was that door opened again. It's like, it just makes sense.
Did your brother get into it because of your dad, or was that something that
Yeah. My brother got into it early. Like my brother, it's crazy how big of a star my brother actually is in that world.
Yeah.
Like,
he's huge.
It's ridiculous. And like
Randy Orton for
it's
everybody
just
listening.
it's just a fact that he's people say like he's one of the best of all time, and I'm like, I'm so proud. That's so cool. It's not like he's just in
I thought you were going to be like, but there's another part of me that's like,
no. I'm not jealous at all. Literally, comedy and it's not even apples and oranges. It's like fucking apples and like
cement
SUVs.
Yeah.
Like what? There's just no. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He can. Yeah. And like I said, you even saw I knocked a dude out on YouTube.
Yeah.
And
It says Randy Orton's brother
knocks someone. It's like I'm always gonna have to deal with that. And when I'm like in a dark place, as comics can get, and I'm depressed, I'm feeling sorry for myself, and I'm angry at everything. So that's when I'm like, fuck, I hate this. But then most of the time, I'm just like, yeah, it's just a part of my life, and I have an excuse to talk about it. Like I avoided talking about it for a long time.
Yeah, I could imagine.
But now on stage, I have to, because I have to be prepared. Like when people ask me, you ask me this question, I don't even know what to say because it's like I have nothing to compare it to. And my brother was just always big and strong, and I looked up to him, and like I was like, I knew like if anyone picked on me, I would just think of like my brother would kill you.
Yeah.
Like you can't pick on me.
Rip your arms off and beat you to death with them.
Yeah. My brother was always a big dude, and he's 8 years older than me. So there wasn't really, we didn't hang out. He was always nice to me, I'd say. But I was kind of a neglected kid. Like I played video games all the time, and then my family would shame me for it. But it's like, you didn't get me into sports or anything. Like
nobody wants to hang out.
No one fucked with me. But I also look like my parents were providing for 3 children. I don't try to say I had a hard childhood. I was just lonely and I just video games.
Yeah.
That's all I did. By the time I was 12, my brother was out the house. So like, I don't have the majority of my life, my brother has been a fucking famous person.
Yeah. I was going to say, because he's 8 years older, so he was Randy Orton before. Yeah.
He was doing that shit when he was 20.
So you would have been.
And he's 40, he'll be 42. So That's more than half of his life.
He's been doing it.
And I'm 8 years younger than doing the math. That's like, what is there to say?
Yeah.
There's this big jacked guy who's my brother, who's famous, and I don't really know him.
Super.
But we also, I go back home and we hang out, and he's a good brother.
Yeah.
I don't ask him for shit, and I'm proud of that. People say it's very noble, but like he wouldn't let me starve to death. But like the goal is to never be in a position to, I'm gonna starve to death because I'm a grown man. I don't want help.
Take
from
care of
anyone.
yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. But like sometimes it is like I look at his house and then I look at my apartment. And I'm like, God, this is fucking ridiculous.
You can't do that.
I know. Nah, that's when I'm like in bed. I'm like, Jesus Christ, how are we in the same family? The fuck? It's like I don't ask for shit, but then like you start to be like, can you just really?
I mean, I'm not gonna ask you, but if you happen to Venmo me,
if I think hard enough, will he telepathically go, oh, does he need? Should I Venmo him 20 grand because I wouldn't notice it gone and it would change his life? But no. I don't ask. Like he got me. I've been into credit card debt like in college, and he got me out. Like little things.
Oh yeah.
And I say little things, but like they're micro to him, but they're huge to me.
Yeah, it changes your life.
A couple grand. Like thank you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's crazy just how that can be so different to some people.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, what do you need? 10 grand? I'll write you a check. And it's like, that's literally, that changes my entire life.
Yeah, 10
and you'll
grand.
just like write a check.
That'd be amazing. And that it's never been that much because I would feel like kind of like spoiled if that much. But if a couple grand is like, oh, thank you, and like this is reasonable. But if anyone like writing a check for 10 grand even to him would be less significant than when I've given $1 to a homeless person.
Oh yeah, in the grand scheme of things, if you really think about it,
percentages of wealth, that's crazy to me. And when I look at it that way, I'm like, I've given a lot of dollars to homeless people. But it's like, but then it's like, you can't judge it like that because it's like,
no, because it's different.
I like that I struggle and I have to work hard to like have a very just above sad life.
Yeah.
It's fine because who would want to, oh yeah, I had everything handed to me and here's some jokes.
If it was easy, it would just be the way.
Yeah.
And that's what separates people, not only who get into like comedy, but also separates people who move to a foreign place that's super expensive. That They don't know if they're going to make it.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. You know, and it's just like when you were training. It's just like when I played football. Like the difference between someone who's like, yeah, I did that once in high school, and now I play for, the fucking New York Giants is the fact that you just, one, it's God-given talent, but also it's just you just never quit.
Exactly.
You just keep going. I tell people that all the time. It's like they're like, "Oh, well, what if it doesn't work out?" It's like there is no plan B. There is no doesn't work out.
And by the way, sorry I didn't answer your question, but I barely said anything about. Yeah, it's hard to really answer that. It was just my dad. I mean,
Yeah.
And I understand the question. Everyone has an excuse to ask, what was it like? But I think I should have the excuse to go. It
was just growing up.
What was yours like? Because mine will be similar. I didn't like. It wasn't like we didn't like body slam each other after dinner. You know what I mean? Like he didn't choke slam me if I got C's on my report card. It was just he was a dad. Kind of scary. Now he's like a sweet older man. He goes to the gym all the time. He starts smoking again. Fucking makes me want to smack him. But
he's a big guy, right?
My dad, yeah, he's a big dude. Him and I get along great now. I think he didn't like me when I was a kid.
Okay.
Or even like my 20s. I think I drove him crazy because like a little drinking and driving, which I got from him. But
like, throw him right under the bus.
It's fine. It's been years. Like nothing. Yeah. There's no murder that we're hiding. Like it's fine. It's just like, do you know how many times like I'd be like I hit a deer or I swerved out the way of a deer and looking back he was like, you think I'm fucking stupid? I've done the same thing. There was no deer. There was a lot of alcohol.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to get into some of these stories.
Okay. Segue.
Yeah, you sent me. Well, we're talking about it now.
No, I gave you bullet. These are all things that popped into my head while writing. They're not fleshed out. They're just like talking points.
Well, you gave me 10, so we're not going to be able to get to all of them, which is why I got to have you back on.
Yeah, we'll get through 2 of them. I mean,
I want that first one. The first one was really good.
Okay.
Just it sounds good, and we're talking about drinking and driving, so let's get into it.
This is drinking and driving, but it's not the bad kind.
So this is after high school. Is this like the summer before you go away to college?
It was either the summer after senior year or the summer after. I think it was the summer after senior year of high school.
Okay.
And my friend, there was like this group of friends. I finally like wiggled my way into this group of friends. They were like cool kids, but some of the people on the wrestling team were friends with them, and I was like the team clown of the wrestling. So I was able to make some friends through that, and I ended up with like this group of friends, still friends with like half of them to this day. But one of them had this property, and there was like a house, and we'd stay in it, and we'd just get drunk and drive 4-wheelers and do like, you know,
fun
Midwestern Southern fucking shit you probably did, right?
Yeah.
But there was a pond, and
on the property.
Yeah, on the property. Yes. It was a situation where cops even showed up because we like kind of like we need to do something to like, get a tow truck, and they didn't even ask if you were drinking. It was like, this is private property.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like no one cares.
But why would the cops show up? Tell everybody what happened.
I don't remember, but I can tell you what I do remember.
Yeah, tell us that.
So my car was for some reason parked close to a pond. And I was in the driver's seat. I go to the car with this girl. And as we've already touched on, I probably was panicking. I don't know. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Perform. This is back when I was a virgin. I lost my virginity at 21.
Oh, wow.
I know. But, yeah, anxiety, right? But
anxiety, it's crazy.
We go into my car, and I'm in the driver's seat. And, like, I forget what the fuck. We were just drinking, and like there was like I didn't know how to make a move. I'm like a dumb kid. Like imagine the anxiety we've talked about, and I'm 19, 18.
Yeah.
You know,
Shit, that happened to me in my late 20s.
Yeah, so I'm just sitting in the car, and she ends up like sitting on my lap, right, while I'm in the driver's seat, and as she does that, like I think we were like kind of like making out or like touching or whatever. But as I like put my foot down to adjust my body, and my foot just goes on the gas. And for some reason, it wasn't in park, I guess. And my car just goes into the pond.
Just head first, right into the pond.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh no. And this just shows you how fucking, well, I shouldn't say women, but at least this woman she just got out of the car and walked away. Like, oh, I guess he's not of use. Like, I guess I'll just fucking fuck him forever. So she walked off, and then I just go to my friends. I'm like, my car.
Was it stuck? You couldn't get it back out?
It was stuck. I couldn't get it out, but it was just like half. It wasn't submerged to where the car was ruined, or it was like like a danger of drowning. It was just like a sad, like the front passenger wheel was just in the mud, and then like there was enough water on the undercarriage of the car to where it fucked some stuff up. So like my power steering got fucked up.
Okay.
So I drove like 3 hours back to St. Louis and couldn't like turn the wheel.
Oh god.
It was all highway, but like I just had to like so I just had to fix the power steering when I got home. But yeah, we ended up calling like a tow trucking guy. He pulled the car out. For some reason, I remember them being, maybe it wasn't cops, but it was just the tow truck people themselves. I was like, oh, they have to report it. And but nothing, no one gave a
no one
fuck.
cared.
No one ever cared. That's just me not remembering. But there was that. I mean, yeah. That, not much of a story, but
it's
pretty
good.
Silly.
That's
pretty silly incident.
I asked you for the bullet points, and like I said, the very first thing you sent me was got drunk and drove a car into a pond, and I was like, this is gonna be a good episode. We're gonna have some stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about walking around naked earlier, and then you put naked on a float trip. What does that even mean?
Yeah, so as fucking shy as I am with women, when I get drunk, because I'm sober now, I was a clown. Like, I would just do anything I could just to make my friends laugh and be ridiculous. And like, you know when strangers are mortified, but it's funny to the people in on it?
Yeah.
I'm just that type of guy, just awkward. Just like, I'm sure you've seen me on stage bombing, but it's funny for me and you and one other guy.
Yeah.
That's just like, this is for us. Everyone's horrified. But I just got naked, put a sock on my dick, and walked around drunk during the day on a float trip.
What's a float trip?
Oh, people don't know that.
Yeah.
So in Missouri and maybe a couple other neighboring states, you got these these calm enough rivers where you can just go on a raft with a bunch of buddies and you get drunk and that's
so you
the
just
whole
float
thing.
down the river. It's a float trip.
Yes.
Got it. Now
But
it makes sense. I've seen Ozark.
Yeah. But Ozark, that's a good show.
It's a really good show.
I'm waiting for second part 2 of season 3.
Oh, so excited.
So at first I was disappointed because I was like, why is this 6 episodes?
Why is it broken up? Yeah.
And oh, there's a second part. Oh, 2 months away. Okay. But anyways, so it was great though. Float trips were great. A lot of eye candy, just hot chicks, bathing suits. That's why you do it for the eye candy. A little aside. One time, this girl and I. This is funny. I just thought of this. This girl. This is back. Like I guess I was kind of like ripped at the time. Like I had abs or whatever. So like compared to the average guy, it just was easy. Like a girl who's like slutty or looking to hook up was like, oh, he has abs. Okay, he wins.
Yeah.
So this girl who's
especially in St. Louis.
Yeah. He doesn't have a heart attack countdown. This hot girl, way out of my league, sees me, like she just swims over to me and starts hanging out. And I'm kind of like hanging out with her and we're drinking, having fun. And the whole time in the back of my head, I'm like, what if she wants me to fuck her? I want to, we talked about.
Absolutely.
But we ended up in the water together.
Countdown, the end of days clock is just in the back of your head.
Right?
Like, you're not going to make it.
Yeah. So we're in the river and she just puts her hand in my swimming suit and grabs my dick while we're in frigid water. And I'm nowhere near thinking of and my dick. Like I'm a grower. I'm already a grower, but this is cold water. She grabbed my dick and then she just swam away. I swear to God. And bro, that's going in my set. That's funny.
That's the clip.
I just thought of that. But like she girl grabbed my dick and swam away.
No amount of abs could make up for it.
No. And I was just like, I was like lying to myself, like, she's, I never had a chance anyways. But it's like so many missed chances with hot chicks just because of my anxiety or being unfairly judged on my cold water boner. Like that's ridiculous. Cold water flaccid.
Yeah, that's not. You can't.
But then I saw her like with like my friend's older brother when in the same group. So she just like went down the rank 1 to like a guy with confidence who was like, I was like probably 23 at the time. He's probably like 30. So he was more confident and like probably charmed her with like not being a kid.
Yeah.
And then he probably fucked her.
So you
on dry land.
You so disappointed.
Yeah.
So you used to just get naked and put a sock on your dick and walk on these float trips.
And there were 3 or 4 of these float trips. They were amazing. They were a blast. But like I'd come back home. I'd have poison ivy on my dick. Like it was ridiculous.
God.
But when I was hanging out with all my buddies on this float trip, I was like naked, sock on my. And there was this guy who kept coming over to our campsite and he was stealing our alcohol.
Yeah.
So this isn't a good moral.
That's what we're all about here at X Drinking Buddy.
I pissed in a cup and gave it to him.
Oh.
And he drank it.
Oh.
And he goes, "Why would you do that?" And
you immediately knew it was urine?
Yeah. He goes, "Why?" And everyone's laughing. And I just walked away. And you don't steal people's alcohol, buddy.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's something I live by. Still to this day, I don't drink, but that's still something. You don't take another person's alcohol.
You don't steal anything. Steal from the store, not another person.
Yeah,
that's my thing. Like, who the fuck steal from the corporation? That's fine. That's screwing over there. You're not going to affect the low-level employees who are going to be fired anyways when you steal a jug of whiskey.
Yeah.
The CEO, you're not going to affect any of them. They have things set in place for theft, right?
Yeah.
The rich people still get rich.
Dude, I
Steal from them. Not
I had
me.
a regular who was a high-ranking executive in one of those like CVS, Dwayne Reed kind of Walgreens kind of companies. I won't say exactly who, or what. But he was like, yeah, we account like 30% of our margins go into theft. So it's taken, they like take it off the top. Like they obviously everyone who knows anything about economics knows like, oh yeah, you obviously work that into the price point that you sell at.
Yeah.
But it's like a big number. It's not like 10% or 50. Like
I would have guessed 3%.
No,
if it was
30%.
Multiple choice, 3%, 30%, whatever. I'd 3.
No,
not 30.
It's like a 30% mark.
Tenfold.
Just to take into just for theft. That's before paying people and like, labor hours and all that kind of stuff. The price point is increased 30% just for
One
theft.
out of 3 people are pieces of shit.
I guess
That's actually a low estimation now that you think about it.
Yeah, now that you think about it.
Everyone's a piece of shit.
Maybe it should be 70%.
Dude, I'll tell you what, I steal avocados.
Do you?
You got to make up for the ones that are spoiled that you buy.
Was that when you were talking about when you opened it? That was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've brought that. I think I've brought that up. There's no joke yet, but like that's
the idea.
That's a premise. I'm sure it's been touched on.
I'm doing so good. I'm eating healthy. I'm gonna eat this. And then you open it up and it's all
avocado,
brown.
Yeah,
and
you're like, oh,
guess I'll just kill myself.
Yeah.
You did talk about peeing in the cup, getting back at that guy. There was another story you had put on there that I want to touch on. It might be our last story, but the knocking a guy out when you were hungover.
Oh.
Where was this? How old are you? What's happening? Take us through this.
I was 19. I was in college.
Okay.
And this was a UFC fight. This is actually the fight that wound up on YouTube.
God, I'm so good at this. I'm so good at this hosting thing.
Dude, circle back, dog. We didn't plan any of this either.
No.
It's crazy.
I didn't even know that was the same thing.
It's great.
Because you never mentioned being hungover when you talked about it.
Yeah, no, of course. No, I didn't.
So I had no idea.
I know.
This was just natural. This just worked out.
All right, cross it off the chalkboard. We've circled back. All right, no. Fucking, there's play-by-play. No, so we actually...
So this is just to set it up for the listeners. This is you're a freshman in college.
Yeah.
This is when you're doing UFC, the MMA stuff.
MMA.
Yeah.
MMA.
MMA.
Yeah, it's kind of like NFL to football, blah, 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 you know. So I was never in the UFC. So this is my third fight. So I had beat a guy in my first match. Second match, got my ass whooped.
Did you?
Yeah, it was one of my 2 losses. The guy kicked me in the throat.
Ooh.
And I couldn't breathe. And I was just like, thought I was going to die. So I was not really worried about fighting. And I just like covered up and was like trying to dodge him. And he just like was hitting me like in the back of the head and shit while I was like half hunched over. And the ref stopped it.
Yeah.
I always wanted to like rematch him and, when I had more confidence.
Oh, yeah.
But it happens.
Still to this day,
think
about it.
I was 19. He was probably like, he was a grown ass man. Like he was smiling at me in the way down. He knew he was going to kill me. And I was just like, fuck. But yeah, when you can't breathe, when your windpipe might be crushed.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Crushing your trachea and you're like,
yeah, fuck that guy. Hope he's dead. But, yeah, hope a fucking train hit his throat. All right. So we, third fight, man, and I didn't even know this fight wasn't planned. So I get drunk with all my friends and stuff, and it was one of those things where you wake up the next day and you just have like you shit water like every hour.
You pee out of your butthole.
I was spraying piss out of my ass every hour on the hour and then my coach goes, "Hey, I got a fight for you tonight," and I guess God was like, "Take it." For some reason, I took it. And
you weren't. Oh, so you could have opted. It's not like something you had to do.
Up till I went, I probably had fucking watery shit all over my body when you see that fucking video.
Kick?
I go in there, man. After I probably shit 20 times that day.
What time is this?
It was
fight?
at night.
So okay, so you're like feeling like shit all day, and then
horrible.
You're like, I got to go and fight this guy.
Yeah. And I like had to weigh in, so like I'm dehydrated and
that
luckily,
probably helped the weigh-ins.
Yeah. Then I had like an apple, and the apple gave me diarrhea. So I'm just in there, and I'm like, "This."
Were you worried? My biggest concern would be like, if this guy hits me the right way, I'm gonna shit myself.
Yeah, I was like, "What am I doing?" I was like, "Why am I in here?" So I just went.
This is the whole. I don't mean to interrupt, but that is the whole idea of the show. Is what am I doing?
What the fuck am I doing? So bell rings. I go in there. I throw a jab, miss. Like, right? I back up. Then I'm like, fuck it. I got a really strong left kick. Like my coach always says, that would kill somebody. You know, when he's holding the pads, he's like, that's a secret weapon. I load it up. I run. I like run in and just throw it. I thought it was going to hit his ribs. He ducks, anticipating another shitty jab, and just looks at my shin. And I thought I killed him. I walk around the ring like, just like, woohoo! Everyone's cheering. I'm like, did that just happen? I do the, Anderson Silva used to play the guitar,
yeah,
air guitar. I think I did that, like, but I didn't commit to it, so I just like half played the guitar and then stopped.
Oh,
it was
man.
so stupid. I'm just a skinny, dehydrated 19-year-old douchebag walking around, and like this. I think he was a Marine, like like a hero. And I just luckily knocked out.
You got lucky and almost killed him.
Yeah. And then then my coach is like, go check on him. So I walk over there. I'm like, hey, are you okay? And he's like sitting up.
He was breathing, so you were like, all right,
yeah. But like it was cloud 9, man.
Yeah.
Knocking someone out.
Greatest feeling in the world.
I mean, it was crazy, man. Like, and I didn't get any pussy because I was probably scared of that. I was just knock a guy out and then you go back. And yeah. I just didn't know. I didn't even know like what from here, because I did it. I trained for it.
Yeah,
it happened. But like, I'm not. I would just never cut out for the UFC. I mean, looking back, I should have been like the Special Olympics division of fighting because of my hips and
yeah.
So I'm all fucked up. But yeah, I was hungover and got a lucky kick. And people in the comments even say it was a fluke and shit. But it's like, what have you done?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
You're commenting on my video.
YouTube comment people are the worst people. I hate them.
Yeah.
Even sometimes they're nice, but it's like, you are just a coward with no goals.
I literally just said this to another comic.
People. I hate YouTube comment negativity because you're the biggest fucking loser and you have the audacity to shit on somebody who's at least putting themselves out there in some form.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I don't know.
That's where we're going to end it. Plug everything one more time. Your social media, everything like that.
At Nathan Orton NYC.
Thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thank you.
I do appreciate it.
This was fun. You and I have a nice little rapport. I feel like buddies.
We're going to have to get you back on because we have 8 more stories we got to get through.
Yeah, well, 7.
7. That's true. Oh, yeah, we did do the float story.
What a dick. I just correct you. It's not necessary.
Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. BrennanTComedy.com, at BrennanTComedy on all social media. Coming to Florida next week. Come check out some of the shows, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
Peace.